Welcome to a new episode of DEVSECOPS Talk with me, Matthias.
Paulina?
Andre.
Hooray. And we have some technical things. So I don't see Andre, but you see us, right?
That's to be seen on recording.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see.
I can see you.
You can see him. You can see both. Okay, that's good. So if
it's
Andre...
a privilege, Matthias.
I have to unlock the premium version of the
you got blocked.
tool, right? Yeah. To be. Okay. 1st of February is the date.
Was 2nd in the morning.
Yeah,
recording
it's 2nd.
It today.
Yeah. So how did January pass by for you? Paulina, what have you been up to? You've been in...
More work, and more work, and work.
Just like that?
Pretty
straight
fast.
into it. Yeah.
Every day looks the same. Plus minus 15 in Denmark with the snow, so...
Yeah.
What about you, Andre?
It's busy. But still have time for good things. Like been racing this weekend. And like 20k in the mountains with 1,300 meters of elevation.
Yeah.
There are good things, but yeah, there is a lot of work. And it's not only us who are busy working, it's also cyber criminals, and Matthias is here to tell us all about it.
Yeah. So today I brought a little list of security things that have been coming up during the first month of the year, right? And to start things up, of course, the CVSS of 10 that happened to n8n. And what is that? It's a tool where you can connect a lot of services, and it runs like a automation platform. And they had a security advisor with a critical flaw that made you so that unauthenticated user could get access to sensitive data and resources, which is really bad if you are a platform which automate with a lot of different things, right? And they earn the CVSS of 10, which is the highest security rating. Yeah, it's called a nightmare, right?
Yeah, but they're actually less visible right now, n8n. So I think like in 2024, beginning of 2025, they were like all over the place. There was automation, no-code automation platform similar to Zapier. But there you would connect your ChatGPT and Redis and stuff like that. So you can actually build a workflow where you can add multiple instances of AI agents with some data in a Google Drive or like a table. They had like a lot of integrations, and then you could produce it. The one way you most probably got exposed to it, if you are on LinkedIn, it was impossible not to see people running around with a post like, I just built fully automated sales funnel on n8n, and you comment something and I will DM you that thing so you can use it for yourself. None of that really worked. And it was still very fragile thing to build the workflow, so on, because it was like breaking all the time. Like all of those tools, like Zapier as well, so they have the same issue. Like API is changing all the time. It's kind of hard to build, and it works, but then it doesn't. And apparently, it was not only the workflow, but also security.
It was, but as you said, you use it to connect everything. So you can connect it to like LinkedIn, and then your email, and then your database, and then your Google Docs, and then you have the workflow, so you can trigger it if I get this message and blah blah blah, and then in the output this will happen. And you didn't need any code.
So what means it has authorization in some way or credentials to all the platforms you are using.
Like API
keys. Exactly.
And the API keys, it can be, I think there was also password credentials in some ways, depending, what system was it. So that means you need to rotate everything afterwards.
Exactly. And make it worse, maybe, I don't say that it's true, but maybe because people that are not that working with technology that much started using it kind of quickly. Maybe the keys also has a higher access level than they should. That can also be dangerous. But it's in it a balance as well, right? These tools gives you a lot of benefits. I mean, how would you set up a workflow with the LinkedIn without using any of these tools? Like build it yourself. I mean, building things to the LinkedIn API is not that easy.
You cannot build the proper automation for LinkedIn because it doesn't really let you. I mean, that's like against their term of use. So
Yeah.
they
block
try
you
to
or
guard
they
it from
flag you.
automation.
Yeah. But against other tools then, like
Yeah, on LinkedIn, I know quite a lot of people who got flagged or they got warning or even blocked account because they use some kind of automation against it.
Yeah, so LinkedIn is very automation non-friendly, and that's by design, because like there are a lot of people who already flooding the platform with either generated content that doesn't have much value. So they're kind of trying to fight that. That's a good thing, I think.
Yeah. And true. Also with this exploit, the cloud service was fine, but the one that you hosted yourself, those are the ones you need to update, which also tell you something about it. Cool. Should we leave n8n and go on?
Like, it feels that it would be reminiscent of us not to talk about the moldbot, because it's kind of the same story. It's just another hot AI tool jumping all around. But here, I think that this one is conceptually different. Yeah, so it's built with a lot of CVEs inside. It has like a lot of unsecure default. And for those you living under the rock, so it was first, I think it was called CloudBot. Like
exactly,
it's not like Cloud Code, but it sounds very similar, and the way I pronounce it's pretty much the same.
Yeah,
that's why Anthropic lawyers visited them, and this was like open source project, so they changed the name to Moldbot, and then they changed it to something else. I think now it's like OpenMold.
OpenClaw.
Yes, by the time you hear it, it's probably been called something else. Because like they changed the name 3 times over the week, so yeah.
But what is it? We talk about n8n, which is automation tool, which you add a lot of credentials to, so you can get access to all your resources, and then you can create automation which has access to all its resources. But now OpenClaw, what is that?
This is a attempt to build an assistant, like your personal assistant that you self-host.
Yes.
And there was a rush of people buying Mac Minis to self-host it, but then you connect it to all the crown jewels you have, like your mail, your Google Drive. The same story actually, very similar to n8n, because it also needs API key to connect to the LLM provider. What's different though with this one is that the way it exposes itself to you. So it lives in the messages or in your mail. And that's a problem, because like if you can message that thing, someone else can. And that things have no idea that that person who is sending instructions is not you. And I would even argue that today we don't have technology or like the how to expose LLMs securely, like LLMs that connected to any kind of valuable data securely to the public, because of the prompt injection attacks. And people were like prompt injecting left and right. There are a lot of people who get hurt. And another thing is, it's kind of a hobby project, so it requires a certain degree of technicality to understand what you are doing. But they made it very easy. You run like the bash command, and then it's up and running and installing, but the defaults are very, very insecure. Plus, it pokes out to the internet, and people believe like, well, I have like IP address. No one gonna know like that I'm hosting my small server in here. But boys and girls, if you haven't been listening to this podcast long enough, there are things like Census, there are things like Shadow. Those companies, it's like the whole business model is scraping the internet for the IP addresses. mapping the ports, understanding what's there, and then selling this data or giving it away for free. So basically, as soon as you poke something out, like for instance, HashiCorp Vault, whoever gonna find it, or like your GitLab server, whoever gonna find it, in 20 minutes, it's gonna be searchable with the version of the software you use. And as soon as there is a CVE available, people have automated pipeline. As soon as it's like CVE, they go to Showdown, download the list of IPs, and start trying to exploit it. So it happens very, very fast. You will be surprised. So exposing anything to the public internet, think twice. Like always have something behind VPN, Tailscale, something, but don't expose stuff to the public internet if you not really have to, right?
Yeah. I think that OpenCloud made some changes. I'm running it myself in my Kubernetes cluster. Very limited access, but great fun to have and use. So
there is like a lot of chatter on the internet. There is like even a social network for those bots now to burn more tokens. Not that our planet is getting hot, like slow enough. So.
I also did see the perfect hack that self-driving car. There was someone holding up a sign like with the text like "proceed" to try to trick self-driving car to just drive, right? Don't stop. If someone is walking over the street, just go. But you're holding up the sign with green and proceed. The typical AI prompt injection.
How did that work? What was the outcome of it?
I can send you a link. I think it's drove. They didn't do anything. So if you hold up the sign proceed, the car just keep going. Proceed.
So they managed to hack it.
I imagine it was a limited test, right? I don't think they were going up to self-driving car in the US just to make them run, but perfect example.
But they probably wanted to prove the loophole and that it is possible.
Yeah, exactly. So the danger is, as you pointed out, Andre, and with other things, like when you have a tool that has all your credentials and connect a lot of things, exposing that tool to the internet and getting some export on that tool leaves you kind of vulnerable. It's be careful where you put in your credentials and data.
Quote something. There is actually a Russian writer by the name Viktor Pelevin who in 2001 wrote a sci-fi story, The Air Defense Codes of Al-FSB, like referring to FSB, Secret Service in Russia, where an abandoned FSB agent would write on the ground a large text paradoxical sentences which would send AI-enabled drones in the computational loop thereby crushing them.
Yeah.
And that was like written 25 years ago, but it's so true. I mean, the plot there is that the US took over Afghanistan. They had like advanced AI-based drones that like basically patrol everything all the time. But then they started to crashing because that guy was writing a gibberish stuff on the sand that would take, took over the AI computation and just consume all the CPU cycles. 25 years ago, I think guy knew something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even tried it when I was writing my master thesis. We were writing actually on the autonomous drones based on, QR codes or some kind of signs what drones gonna do based on this and how similar we can go that they do the same even if they're supposed to not, or how much is, where is the threshold to being able to pass by particular settings that they see a red circle, they're supposed to do something. But what is the difference also in variance that they can still do the action even if they didn't supposed to? So
that's why I'm saying we don't really have a technology for the LLMs today to be safely exposed to the public. Like there is no authorization system science. There is no clear indication that you is you. Like when you authorizing yourself to the system, you justify you prove to the system that you is you by having something that no one else has, a password. Or now it's a biometry. So the cryptographic operation that will bind your device to the service, and then it knows you own the device. It might be your MacBook or your phone, with a passkey or security key. We've been through that episode already about passkeys, but basically those are two ways how you can tell the system that you is you.
Yeah.
But LLMs doesn't have this kind of knowledge today. Like what they see is user and assistant kind of conversation going on there. And there is no concept of hostile actor impersonating the user, because the only thing that LLM knows is like a user.
Yeah, here's the session. Keep on going. I have another thing that I added on my list. And it's only been January, but there have been some large-scale patching. So Microsoft patches over 100 vulnerabilities, critical remote, several of them. Other major players as well, like SAP, Cisco, Atlassian, were also flagged with high severity flaws. We don't work with these tools, but I want to point out that it's been 1 month and it's going on. There's a lot of patching going on in the background. Not everything ends up in the news, like the n8n, right? Like it was CVSS. Under the radar, there's a lot of things still flying around that we don't see it that much, but people are still patching high CVs all the time.
I would say, like, if you like pay attention, like listen to the podcast like Security Now, where
Yeah.
Steve Gibson is quite deep into the Microsoft. He basically breaks down every patch Tuesday.
Yeah.
Microsoft, like, they have those monthly events, and it's like it's 100, at least 100 every month. So like, there is no surprises.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. Like n8n had one CVS10, which was bad, and we all wrote about it, but another tool patched over 100, right?
Everyone just used to Microsoft having a lot of bugs. The question there is it Microsoft good at finding bugs, or is it like the software is so bad?
Both.
Yeah.
They bet with producing software and they're good at finding their own bugs.
Yeah. It's interesting to see, like, it's still ongoing. It's like it doesn't stop. Sometimes you think like, oh, it's gonna be kind of calm. I haven't seen any big exploits. But it's like constant work. Like, also when you're working, everybody else is working. Hackers trying to find things. Developers find things that are broken. So everybody's patching frequently. I think you need to be on track on that to following.
Yeah, but sometimes also by fixing one, you can introduce new stuff as well, and so on.
Yeah.
So it's never-ending loop where we fix some, but we expose something else.
Yeah, exactly. And what I try to say is like everybody's working. Everybody has full-time fixing, adding new features, we add more bugs, fixing bugs that you already had, patching. You have to keep up with patching and the supply chain.
Yeah, and people I think have tendency to ignore these, minor patches and so on. Some people only go for major, like, oh, okay, we don't need to deal with it. It's just a minor and so on. It's not that important.
It's a lot of tools, but tools also get better. Now you have dependency spot and you have things that you can scan your code repos and find things. This is updated, it hasn't been. It wasn't the case a couple of years ago. Then you have to manually keep track of them. But today, keeping track of your software and making sure it's updated and the supply chain is good, it's important. It's getting more and more.
Okay. What else do you have on your radar, Matthias?
Yeah, I have another one now. It's basically built for an event that happened in Sweden. But sometimes when you live in society, you need to have applications or apps in your phone to be in that group. And for example, my kids play sports, and in that like club that they play, they have an app, and to be part in the club, you need to have that app so you can see when the trainings are, if there are games, all that. Well, it turns out one of the apps that a lot of people used, over 2.5 million people in Sweden, didn't take security that good. So they got hacked and all their data was leaked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. it would be bad if it wasn't. It was only like grown up, but this also included a lot of kids, and they have profiles, images, and data, and the date of birth. So it's bad, of course. They got a fine, 6 million SEK. It's about 560,000 euro, something like that. Maybe not that much, but the worry or the thing that makes me a little bit angry is that this is an application that they sell to clubs where they have a lot of kids. You as a parent can't really like, no, I don't want to use this app because you need to have it, otherwise you can't come to the practices, you can't go to the games. And then they kind of don't take security seriously, and then all our data is leaked.
Yeah, those probably they don't make much money. I mean, you need to have resources. I mean, I'm not trying to defend them, but just saying that they're probably prioritizing some other things.
Yeah, but I think, it's a two backbone thing, because I think one is, having awareness within the people, kids and elderly, and also people who are not maybe in tech business and tech industry. What should they do and what should be basics to being able to deal with it. I had an example with my grandfather. His phone got robbed a few months ago in the shop with phone and everything. And he didn't had, how they call it, location of my phone enabled. So of course someone turned off the phone, but we couldn't locate the phone. Thanks to other circumstances, they managed to find the woman and get stuff back. But, my grandfather is 80. We cannot expect from him to being able to take care, to know this stuff.
No.
We're really happy he can deal with with the smartphone and how to write stuff, find his way around and so on. But I thought my parents knew these basics because I talked with them multiple times about it, and they introduced my grandparents to it. Turn out not. Yeah. So I think it's also about, having, one thing is dealing with it within the company or product, but otherwise it's like, okay, teach your kids, teach your parents, teach your grandparents how to be on the basic level secure with some stuff. Or for example, I had to teach my father how to use AI in the secure way. And okay, you don't put private data, you don't do this. You can use public models for this, and this, but don't use it for it.
Security needs to be part of the business model, so how the people make money, and the public to demand it, or is the government to demand it, then they would consider it. Because the fine that they pay, 6 million, that might actually put that company maybe out of the business quite quickly. But also, if you compare that to the financial upside that the cyber criminals who hack them might get, because they can resell that data that will be then later used for phishing, they can maybe make more money out of it, and then it's becoming a numbers game. So that needs to be taken into account, and that fine maybe needs to be higher, because you should be comparing to what people would sell this data for, and not just some random government fees. And then that would align the incentive for the cyber criminals with the incentive for developers, because then we're talking about the same number.
Yeah, here I think is one is that the company know that they have problems and they just didn't do anything with it, and they had a lot of kids and other things in the database. I think that's kind of bad, even if they prioritize other things, of course, than fixing this. They know about it before. I think that's I hope that this company goes out of business because of that, and I hope other companies learn, right? If you're dealing with sensitive data, and especially kids' data, you should take this thing seriously. I thought everybody know that in 2024, or 2020, that this is going to be important. So I'm a little bit sad about it in that sense. The other part is you have to use this tool, otherwise you can't be in society and doing things. It could be like a parking app that you need to know as well.
I'll tell you a story. I probably mentioned that already, but here in Las Palmas, they have a local, for the municipality side, where you would do different errands to like download documents or submit the cases and stuff like that. You go to that website and it shows you a broken HTTPS, untrusted certificate. And like, why is this?
Yeah.
And like, I noticed that on my computer, it was, as I said, it was fine. I go to my wife's computer, I open the same website. HTTP SSL is broken as untrusted.
Yeah.
So that's a quiz. Why is it so? And turns out that to sign documents or like sign in, for instance, in a tax agency here, you have to install something called Autofirma, which is like the signing application that will host your authentication certificate. That thing install its own CA to your root certificate store. So, and Las Palmas website SSL certificate provided by is provided by the same company. So technically, they can decrypt the traffic, whatever you do there, because they have the CA root store. Like if they somehow hijack your networking, they technically can impersonate any kind of website, and you will have no notice. Like, usually authoritarian states would do like that. Like the Kazakhstan was trying to do that, and they had a lot of pushback from the CA, CA forum or like in the browser forum people. But so the CA was not allowed to be installed in the root store. But here, like in Spain, I was surprised that this actually was happening.
Wow.
But I don't think they have anything malicious in mind. Just this Autofirma thing acts as also the certificate issuer. But the fact is that it's not trusted by the browsers. So that's kind of interesting.
It's really interesting. And it's also interesting that I would say that, I heard stories about how they keep the CA certificates for, like, the CA keep them secured and, like, locked down, and they have to have 2 keys to access them. I don't say it's not, but I'm guessing these CA keys are probably stored in less secure than that. And as you said, if you get it and sign it, if you sign like google.com with it, then google.com will be my computer when you browse it.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like at least here, like when I talk to accountants locally, so for instance, the way how the certificate-based authentication is implemented in Sweden is that you have a third app, you have a third site, so like you coming to bank, bank sends authorization request to the third site called Bank ID. I have application on my phone, like Bank ID. It comes to me, I confirm with the biometry or the passcode, then the Bank ID confirms it's me to the bank. So we have a three-party communication. So there is always someone else in the loop confirming that me is me. Like here is actually done differently. So the government issues you a certificate which is exportable. And you can give it to anyone else, like anyone you want. You just install it to the browser, which means like any JavaScript can grab it, technically, like if you allow it to do so. So, and people freely give it away to accountants. So like it's normal practice from accountants to just like give us your certificate that you used to sign all your documents and tell it's you to the government. Like, no, we're gonna like do the representation. So you have to go to the tax office. They have to go to the tax office, request representation rights, and then I sign it. But like, I'm not giving you my certificate.
No. It's the same, but
it's done very differently.
It's the same in Denmark as in Sweden. So we had also the third party and so on.
But we are getting the European, right? I think the coming European one in the end of the year.
Maybe.
I
hope they will have something better than this, because that's like this is quite terrible from the security point of view. Like with the Swedish and Danish system, you cannot export the certificate and you cannot export the private key. So it's like it's a closed system. You only can interface it through the app. Here it's like Wild West.
But as you said, like it's the same. Sometimes you have to use these untrusted services or apps that you like. Society kind of like, here you have to use this. You're given to it, and you have to use it. You have to sign your papers. You have to pay your parking ticket, other one. And it's a big responsibility for those that build it to make sure that your data is safe. And I mean, this too is coming more and more. I don't know how this is going to impact or make things better or worse. We have to see. Maybe next year we know more.
Do we have more security news out of there?
This was my 3 takes that I brought up today. It was the big n8n workflow, which is interesting because we threw a lot of access into that one and then entrusted it, as I said as well, with OpenClaw. And then that this is still ongoing, even like 1 month in the year. People are patching like crazy. And then this last one with the Swedish app that you forced to install, and they don't keep your stuff secure. They just ignore security things, and all your data is leaked. Do you have anything else you spotted?
What about you, Paulina? What's on your radar?
I think I have one more. There was a Binance issue, and it's a cryptocurrency trading platform pretty much. But they exposed a lot of credentials and so on. And after talking with some people, it's realized that, people very often, because they don't require you to have, 2-factor authentication, passkeys or biometric all at once. And I realized that a lot of people think that, for example, having biometric is enough. But if you connect it to the other incident, which was like 6 months ago, there was proven that someone got all the public images which you have on internet of people, and they tried to authenticate to the apps via biometric, via public images based on this, and via, I think there was some combination on AI. So it's good, I think, to maybe remind people to get your 2-factor authentication, get your passkeys, get your biometric, get your password secure. So I think it's that, at least in my proximity with some people, I noticed that it's good to teach people that you should have more, especially when you have money involved or the very private data which shouldn't be exposed. You should have multiple factor authentication ways to be able to get there, even if it's annoying, or YubiKey and so on.
I'm reading the article that Paulina shared. That was approximately 420 records leaked in a publicly exposed database. But it's not by the Binance themselves. It was someone accumulating those, and according to the investigations, those credentials appear to have been collected not through the direct breach of the victim platforms themselves, but rather through InfoStealer, informational theft malware. The existence of records linked to Binance does not imply that Binance internal system was breached. Instead, it's presumed the data was collected from the devices of individual users infected with the credential theft software that's written on the Binance website. Take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, they would state something like that, that they will try to whitewash themselves a little bit, but also be mindful about what you're installing in your laptop. And if you ever tried to transfer any kind of funds on the Binance, it's not like a 2FA, it's like 5FA on the Binance.
Yeah.
They ask about a lot of confirmation for anything. It's just so annoying.
Yeah.
Not by default, unless you enable it. When they ask by default, they don't really ask. They ask for one. They don't ask for multiple.
It will take me probably half an hour to log into that. I haven't logged in on this phone. It will take me half an hour for sure.
Yeah. I don't know what
it's like email. It's 2-factor. It's like email with IP, and at least I think.
Yeah, I think they ask you for the email, so they send you the code over the email, and then they send you the code over SMS.
At the beginning, when you log in, yes, but to being able to do transactions later, not really. I checked it myself. And also, one thing to be cautious about crypto, like compared to the bank very often can, take money out from someone's, or, stop the transactions and so on.
Yeah.
Here, once you send money, it's gone. You don't really cannot get it. It's private. They cannot give you the data of who are they sending it.
Yeah.
Check addresses, people.
But
Telling
you see,
from the experience.
yeah. And you see, we're 1 month in the year, and it's a lot happened already, right? A lot of things. Let's see where the year bring more.
It's a little bit bleak podcast. We need to finish on a positive note.
Yeah. What is that?
So, on a positive note, what do we have?
The day is longer.
The
The
day is
day is
getting
longer. Look, I have sun outside.
Yeah.
But I mean, you did a lot of batching of OpenClaw. I installed it and I kind of liked it. It's a really good tool. Have you tried it? This AI assistant.
I didn't have time really, so
No, I didn't have time either.
It's super friendly. I can tell it like, "Good night. Can you please turn the light off?" It's like, "Yeah, no worries. Sleep well. See you tomorrow." Like, perfect. I had it connected to my home assistant and knows the light and stuff. Super handy assistant. Super handy.
I'm gonna figure out your IP address and play around with your lights, Matthias.
It's running in my Kubernetes cluster. I actually had Claude go to the web page and made a Helm chart for it so I can deploy it to my Kubernetes cluster.
But what's the difference between this and, like Siri, Alexa, or any other stuff like that?
Well, Siri is done, so basically it's just not doing much at all. I mean, they're trying to rebuild it and failing. Like inside Apple, they have like a lot of attrition. Alexa,
It's figure out stuff. I just gave it access to my home assistant. Like, here's my home assistant. Like, go figure out where it is. It's like, okay, I got it. Like, okay, turn off the lights in the bottom floor. It's like, okay, no worries. And then it fixes it.
Yeah, so
if I did that with Siri, I have to like map things. Like, this is the. I have to tell them exactly like this is turn off the light in kitchen, and the name have to be exactly
the same as with the self-driving. So, like with the previous generation self-driving, we had it on a rules-based system. Where you have to write all the rules. Now it's like reinforced learning, like more or less what we have is a generative AI. And here, like the same way as Cloud Code is able to use your CLI tools, those things can use them as well and like interact with the systems. Amazon is a little bit better actually. So they now have the generative AI-based Alexa, but it's only in the US right now, and you have to pay for it. Like in EU, it's not available as far as I know. It's not in Spain. It may be coming. Apple might be doing something. I think they agreed with Google to use Gemini as the base for the new Siri, but when it's coming, it's unclear. Probably this year, maybe next year. Apple's kind of behind. So that's why there is such things as a moldbot, because there is a void, right?
Yeah.
So Apple was like ideally positioned to do that. Since they have all the access to your private data already, just do it all, but they didn't. And you have the Apple Home, like all the integrations, or like the Google, like with Android, they could possibly also do that, but they haven't done it. And now, like, they're just tinkerers and people who kind of see what they want to do. They have a good idea. They're creating those open source projects, and as we just demonstrated, people don't really care much about security.
But don't you think it would be like different tiers? It's like the common user would probably use like Siri or whatever. They don't know what OpenClaw is the name of it, right? But me, that in like we have some smart things in the home. I have some application. I can connect it to the smart home, to cameras, limited email, and like, we can do web cal. Okay, I can set up a calendar server just for this one. So I can kind of limit it and give it access to different things that make sense. And I would love to have an open source tool that can do this. I was looking at
just people are different. There are people who like to buy integrated system that will already have it on site instead of building it themselves.
Yeah.
And like when something breaks, they have to go and fix it. Like people rather buy the ready-to-go solution. So there is no rush for many people with that. Like, I mean, like us who like to experiment with a new technology, it's like really cool. We're ready to put money and effort into it. But for the most of the people, I mean, like they're fine with their lives and like the productivity levels they have.
Yeah. I'm going to invite my bot into our DevSecOps Telegram channel. And you can turn the lights on and off at my home at any time.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
Go ahead.
We see how it goes. Well, you can ask it to fetch an image from the camera, which is nice. So you can
cannot send the link for recording every time, because like we seems to be having hard time each recording with a link for the recording.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe we should have our own like bot for helping.
In the chat. Send the link on there's invite calendar.
While we have our audience attention, I just want to say that I'm hosting the webinar on 11th of February, where like myself and a few other folks from the 5XL, we're going to do a breakdown of reInvent announcements. So there were like a lot. We're going to focus on what is important for the audience who is going to attend. And if you want us to focus on topics important for you, I'm going to have a link to it in the show notes, but you can also go find me on the LinkedIn. And like in my activity, it will be like all over my activity, the link to the webinar, because there you can tell what you want us to talk. Obviously, we'll highlight things that we think is important, but we will balance it together with the audience wishes and dive into the certain areas. Like, for instance, if containers is your thing, for instance, we will come up with everything that was about containers. Right now, it's quite a bit of AI and security people asking about. Yeah. So that's why I'm bringing up, because it's, guess, will be very valuable for the listeners of this channel.
And I heard the peak. We did talk about the peak. Like, what do you think is the most, for you then as a practitioner, like in your work, what did you think was the most interesting announcements from it?
Like from all the stuff they announced that like I'm using already today is like Vector S3 buckets, but let's save it for the webinar. And I think we also were planning to do maybe a podcast with some peaks, but it won't be your peaks. If you like with a webinar, you can actually go and tell what you want to hear. With a podcast, I think we're going to record maybe in March. That will be like my peaks of what I think would be interesting. So if you want to go to the webinar, you just wait till the March and then you will have my peaks. But if you want to influence it, webinar is the place to go.
And I think when we're on announcement, like Paulina, who's your next guest on your podcast?
I'm not sure which episode is next in
so
the queue
many.
to publish. But we are in progress to record a few in deep into community work in the UK and also swap into from DevOps to AI. So yeah, we have a lot of guests. So go and subscribe as well. Or if you want to join as a guest, maybe one of you two.
You should invite us, yeah. It would be interesting to come as a guest. If you're not having enough Paulina, there is a way to get enough of her.
It is. Go and subscribe to both of them. But I think with that, we are up to like 45 minutes, so I will stop this episode now. Thanks for stopping by.
Tuning in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You have been listened to DevSecOps Talks with Matthias, Andre, and Paulina. For notes and information, please visit devsecops.fm. Thanks for tuning in.